New revelation shows former FBI Director James Comey may have broken his own agency's rules. Here's what's going on. More than half of those 9 memos that Comey wrote to himself about his conversations with President Trump about the Russia investigation reportedly contained government records. The political website, it's the media outlet called The Hill, says these memos, some of them could have contained classified information. Now, Comey, remember, he gave his memos to a friend in order to leak them to the press in hopes of getting a special prosecutor, now Robert Mueller. Throughout, Comey never leaked information showing the president was not under investigation. Comey defended his leak in testimony last month, arguing they were his personal records. When experts are now saying, no, they're not. They're government documents. Listen.
Yeah, my view was that the content of those unclassified, the memorialization of those conversations was my recollection recorded.
All right, the president blasted back saying, quote, James Comey leaked classified information to the media. That is so illegal. Let's bring in the executive director of the American Center for Law and Justice, Jordan Sekulow, joins us now. Good to see you, Jordan.
Good to see you, Liz.
Now, if Comey's memos contain classified material, isn't it illegal to share it?
Absolutely. And in fact, Daniel Richman, if this reporting is correct, and Daniel Richman's pushing back, whether or not the markings were on there or not, as Jim Comey explained during the Hillary Clinton investigation, that doesn't matter to the officials. He's worried now, Daniel Richman, the law professor, because there's a conspiracy statute to sharing classified information and leaking that kind of information. So it's not just Comey leaking it and him being in trouble, but the professor himself. And if 4 of 7 have classified information, and the professor has admitted now to having 4 memos, he at least has 1 memo that was deemed to have classified information within it. So he had that in his possession. He was an unauthorized person to have that. That is a criminal statute, punishable up to 10 years in prison.
Now, Jordan, let's stay on this because the memos appear to have had the markings by the FBI of the classified markings on them. So how could James Comey ignore the same security protocol that James Comey publicly criticized Hillary Clinton for in the remaining days of the election?
He's a hypocrite. Jim Comey has been a hypocrite throughout this process. He's gone a step further. I mean, Hillary Clinton was setting up a server that was improper. Jim Comey was leaking out classified information, I mean, intentionally. And, of course, in this situation, I mean, he's already violating the rule because, remember, also important to this, the FBI deeming this government property. So we now can start from the beginning in the criminal code and say, and we look at government records provisions that have nothing to do with whether they're classified or not. That is a crime. So taking those government records, that's a crime. Then if they are classified, that's a second crime, the Espionage Act crime. Then if you have a conspiracy to share it with your friend, third crime. So Jim Comey has, I mean, just at a base level, I think you've already got him on pretty easy on misdemeanors. The question is, how many felonies could you add up at this point?
You know, Jordan, Comey's actions, some critics have said, what kind of message are you sending the rest of the intelligence community that you, such a high-level individual, leaked? And the flip side of that, too, is leaking is par for the course, clearly, because James Comey was so comfortable doing it. And we have former House Oversight Chair Jason Chaffetz saying Comey repeatedly downplayed the security level of his memos. Let's take a listen.
The FBI director multiple times has testified and in his public comments has said whether or not they're marked as classified does not matter. It's the content regardless. You cannot take a government record and just hand it out to your buddy.
I mean, we're talking also about people who oversee our nation's secrets.
Yes.
Does this show Comey's disregard?
Absolutely. I mean, he is, you know, these are individuals at the highest level of law enforcement who are disregarding basic training they receive for all law enforcement officials. Things, and government officials for that matter, people that handle our taxes, like the Privacy Act, which is also, you know, includes the President of the United States. You can't just disclose every information you've got as a government record on individuals without authority to do so. And he did not have authority to do so. He has repeatedly done this. That's why he was fired. Now the question is not, though, why is Jim Comey fired? I think there's 2 additional questions. What criminal charges will Jim Comey face, and is a grand jury being impaneled? I hope that is at least the investigation has begun. And number 2, how much does this undermine the special counsel? Because the entire idea was that the special counsel was based on memos. Memos now that we know had classified information that were at least one of them illegally was classified and given to this law professor because he just admitted that he got 4 of the 7, and so at least 1 of his 4 had classified information. There's another crime right there.
It just never ends, Jordan. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We love having you on the show.
Liz.
Come back soon.